thank you a lot for joining me here today to share your fantastic experience in data science. I appreciate your willingness to share your experience with the audience of this course. Just to introduce, Ali holds a doctoral degree in physics from the University of Göttingen in Germany. After his graduation, Ali spent several years in academia before he moved into industry to work in technology, data, and AI. Right now, Ali is an executive director for data science at OMD EMEA, which is a part of Omnicom Group, one of the world-leading media companies. Ali, I would like to begin by asking you to share a bit more about your background and why you decided to join the world of data science.
My background, my scientific background is physics, so I studied physics PhD when I was in Germany, theoretical physics, physics of complex systems. And I really enjoyed that time, very interesting projects. Then I studied further I worked further as a postdoc in the same university for 2.5 years. My focus was more on research, how we can promote research, how we can now lead a team of researchers. And then I switched to a different career where I started my job as a software engineer in a company in Frankfurt. I worked there for a year, and then I moved to the UK to start my role as machine learning engineer and tech lead, focused in computer vision. Very, very different field from what I used to know. So there have been loads of learning elements, and now I switched to marketing. So yeah.
That's such an amazing career trajectory right from the beginning. I hear that you have a very solid foundation in data engineering and building data infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that empowers you in your current role in data science?
Well, what I feel quite interesting in data science is it's super multidisciplinary. You'll need to communicate with different people in the business. So you have business on one end to define KPIs and things that we call data. It's nothing other than something measurable, and this is data. So the KPIs. On the other end, you need to understand how to play around with tech in a more in-depth way, not as an operator, but somebody who develops it. And on the other hand, we have this innovation landscape where we need to always be current at our knowledge. So we need to understand numbers, and we need to propose new solutions to clients, and at the same time communicate these solutions to stakeholders like higher management teams. So all these multidisciplinary stuff really interests me. Another thing that I found really exciting about data science, especially for those who switch from academia, is when you switch to a job as data scientist, you do not need to start from scratch. Basically, from day one, you are able to derive some impact within the organization, which I found quite interesting. Yeah.
I fully agree. This is definitely something that encourages a lot of people to move from academia to industry. And in terms of the key skills and capabilities, what do you find to be the most critical for success in data science?
Well, I would say a data scientist should be really interested in numbers. So if they are hesitant about dealing with anything numbers, so I think they should really rethink about their pathway. So that is super important. But the rest is which I found quite interesting, quite important, is they need to understand best practices of engineering as well. Like they shouldn't dive into the project without any assumption in the beginning. So they always need to be very organized in defining a project and adhere to best practices of engineering so they can deliver scalable and maintainable solution. So this is super important, I would say, in data science. The rest is always be updated in the current technologies. So if there is newsletter, they need to read every day. So I really recommend it. Whenever opportunities happen, they should be ready to start the project, propose it to the client, and start off with that.
I know we don't have much time left, and I really would like to ask you, before you go, about the trends which you see as the most prominent in data science. What do you see as the biggest opportunities right now?
There are two sides for the trend that I want to mention. I know that you know what I'm going to mention. It's going to be AI and Gen AI. So it's a hype, it's a big trend, and it provides a big opportunity in front of data scientists. However, I would pinpoint more to the disadvantage of that, which is the distraction that they bring to freely thinking about the problem. So this distraction is like, it makes the landscape very, very overwhelming. And that happened to me. That will happen to many of the people who are working in data science. So every day you wake up, you see a new tool appeared. For example, today for the first time, I used Notebook ML. It's an amazing tool. It's beautiful. But how many of these tools are around? So tons of them. And it's overwhelming. So data scientists should be super careful about this landscape, this overwhelming landscape. That's why I always advise people to spend more time on defining the problem rather than the solution. Because for the solution, there are loads of tools out there, and no matter when you want to start off, many of them are even free. So spending time on problem definition is really, really crucial. Connecting it to business problem is super crucial. And I don't think alone just putting, let's say, LLM or PyTorch or TensorFlow in our CV justifies the solution. That's the thing I would definitely advise on that. So first start with the problem, then the solution. But yeah, back to the trends. Large language models, I think, is a hottest trend probably these days. The multimodal models, foundation model is also quite hot. So yeah, the question is how we're going to use it for our clients. Yeah.
This resonates a lot. Recently, I was participating in a couple of conversations about large language models and their restrictions because, of course, there is this consistent willingness to make these models bigger, to bring data of different natures, and to connect data of different natures. At the same time, there is still a limitation in how much we can really recreate reality, and that we really need to recreate this whole reality. I believe right now there is more potential in creating specific models where you have a very tangible question and then you find the best possible way in which to narrow down your data to answer the specific question in the best possible way. Do you have any opinion on that?
Well, I think that's something we plan for as well. You're absolutely right. So they are really, really generalists. And in my opinion, the better way of using them is either restricting them to very specific tasks or making use of models which are trained on very specific tasks. If I understood your question correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. So that's why I do believe that using agentic system would really help in building a good workflow from data to inference, because basically what you do in agentic system is you break down your full task into smaller and smaller parts, which are your agents, And of course, in the end, you're going to orchestrate them together. The advantage of it is each of these small pieces are testable, and you can iterate on them to improve that small task further and further, as opposed to using a huge model which knows everything. But the thing is, their selling point is that they know everything, but how deep they know everything, that's a question. So they might hallucinate a lot. So yeah, I think I agree with you. So we should definitely restrict our models, or there are models which are expert at doing stuff, like models which are trained on, let's say, marketing insights, models which are trained on, let's say, banking data. So these models, they are still foundation models, no doubts about it. I'm not talking about old school machine learning. Of course, old school machine learning is still good, but even with foundation model, you can always fine tune it on different data and make them expert at a smaller area, which is more testable and of course more reliable in that area.
Ali, thank you a lot for your time and this very interesting conversation. I would love to continue it another time. Hopefully we'll have another chance soon.
Thank you.